Hare Krishna. Summary of Canto 3, Chapter 17. Victory of Hiranyaksha over all the directions of the universe. After hearing from Brahma, all the demigods gave up their fear and they returned to their respective places. Diti had been very apprehensive of the trouble to the demigods from her children, so she gave birth to the twins only after 100 years. After their birth, many fearful natural disturbances started to occur on earth and heavens and outer space. Mountains and the earth shook, fire was seen everywhere. There were thunderbolts and meteors fell. Many inauspicious planets appeared along with comets. Harsh winds blew with dust as their flags, storms as their armies, and uprooted gigantic trees. Dense clouds covered all the luminaries in the sky and spread darkness. The ocean, along with its inhabitants, wailed loudly. Rivers and lakes with withered lotuses were completely agitated. Eclipses were seen of the sun and the moon with halos. There was thunder without clouds. Sounds of chariots was heard from mountain caves. She-jackals were vomiting fire, and they yelled inauspiciously along with the cries of jackals, owls, and other fearful animals. Dogs cried like singing and weeping. Asses ran in herds, striking the earth with their hooves and wildly braying. Frightened by the braying of the asses, the birds flew from their nests, and the cows passed urine and stool. The frightened cows yielded blood instead of milk. The clouds rained pus. The image of gods in the temples shed tears. Trees fell down without a blast of wind. Inauspicious planets such as Saturn were seen with retrograde motion, and they surpassed the auspicious ones like Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and so on, and they came in conflict with one another. Seeing these evil omens, everyone except the four Kumaras were afraid and thought that the time for the dissolution was at hand. Meanwhile, the brothers slowly started growing up. The two brothers began to grow like a mountain or like bodies, and they were as strong as steel. With their gigantic form, they seemed to kiss the sky with their crowns, and of their steps, they shook the earth, and they surpassed the sun with their belted waists. Kashyapa gave them names. The first son born was named Hiranyaksha, and the first conceived, who was born later, was named Hiranyakashipu. Fearless Hiranyakashipu, having received a benediction from Brahma, started to control all the three worlds. Hiranyaksha traveled all over the universe with a fighting spirit, just to satisfy his elder brother Hiranyakashipu. And seeing his uncontrollable temper and huge form, with a huge mace, and his mental and bodily strength that was so strong from the boons that he received, the demigods got frightened and they started fleeing. Seeing that the Devatas had disappeared because of his strength, he roared loudly. After returning from heaven with a desire to sport, he dove into the ocean. The aquatics that informed host Varuna that a huge demon has come, and they ran away with fear. Moving about in the ocean for many years, striking the waves with his mace, he reached Vibhavari, the capital of Varuna. Then Hiranyaksha approached Varuna and fell at his feet like a low-born man, and to make fun of him, he said, "Give me a battle, O Supreme Lord. You are the guardian of an entire sphere, a great ruler, a great warrior. And having conquered all the Daityas and Danavas, you once performed a Rajasuya sacrifice." Like this, he provoked Varuna, and Varuna tried to control his anger using his intelligence, and he told, "Oh, we have now desisted from fighting, and we have become too old for a combat. Only Lord Vishnu can satisfy your desire to fight. Even heroes like you praise his prowess. On reaching him only, you will be rid of your pride, and you will lie down on the field of the battle surrounded by dogs for an eternal sleep. The Lord assumes incarnations like Varaha to exterminate wicked fellows like you and to show grace to the virtuous." Thus, Thus ends the summary of Canto 3, Chapter 17, Victory of Hiranyaksha over all the directions of the universe. Hare Krishna.